Right. Somewhere in your organization, an AI agent is about to touch production for the first time. You'll read the logs, pick a tool, and act. And then when someone asks you why it did that, most teams cannot answer. Today, I'm going to show you what fixes that. Last episode was about the door. This episode is about the camera. You're listening to Tech Tuesday from Metrics and Mayhem. 10 minutes to make sense of one thing that landed on my desk this week, whether you're in the pit or at the table. So here's where we are. Last time on Tech Tuesday, I told you about MCP, the standard that gives LLMs a door into your actual tools and your actual data. Well, the agent walked straight through that door. The assistant sitting on your observability stack has stopped being a chatbot that answers questions. Teams are now running agents that investigate incidents on their very own. They pull the logs, they compare the deploys, they draft the fix, and some of them even apply the fix. And here's the uncomfortable bit that we all wrestle with, is when a human engineer does all that, you can ask them exactly what happened. Then they can walk you through it in a retro style format. When an agent does it, most teams can see exactly two things: when it went in and when it came out, the prompt and the answer. And everything in between, which tools it called and in what order, what it read, what it decided not to chase, is a black hole. If you're a practitioner, that's the debugging problem of hell. The agent that gave the wrong answer and you have nothing to step through. If you're a CTO, it's even worse. You have an actor in production whose decisions you cannot audit. That's what this episode is all about. So here's one sentence I want you to keep from today. An unobserved agent is an unknown actor. An unobserved agent is an unknown actor. If nobody can replay why the agent did what it did, then nobody owns what it does. An unknown actor doesn't belong anywhere near production. Absolutely nowhere near production. Now, let me give you a picture to hold on to. Think back to the days of school maths. You never got the mark for the answer. You generally got the marks for the working out. Well, I know I did. Because of that working is now the examiner tells, because of that working, because the working is how the examiner tells the difference between understanding and a lucky guess. And when the answer goes wrong, the working shows exactly where it went wrong. Shows you which line, which step you took. Watching an agent's input and output is making the answer and ignoring the working. Watching an agent's input and output is making the answer and ignoring the working. The answer might be right today. You have no idea whether it'll be right tomorrow because you never saw how it actually got there. You need the working. Every step written down and in order. That has a name in this world. It's called a decision graph. Which tools the agent called, in what order, and each decision graph. Which tools the agent called, in what order, what each one returned, and why it chose the next step it took. And here's why the news that makes this a Tech Tuesday rather than just a wish list. OpenTelemetry, the same community that gave us one standard of how applications emit telemetry, has published systematic conventions for Gen AI, which is a very dry way of saying something useful. There is now a standard layout for agents' workings. The agent steps get written down as spans in a trace in the same shape that every other trace your system already admits. The same fight as last week deliberately. MCP standardized the door. These conventions standardized the working. The framework people actually build agents with, Longchain, Crew AI, AutoGen, already admit the major backends can already read it. The exam board finally agreed on the answer sheet, in essence. Right, named parts. There are 4 to learn and learn them in order. 1, the ask. What the agent has been asked to do, the context it was handed, the prompt, the incident, the alert that got the call started from the very beginning. If you don't capture the initial ask, you can't judge anything from it downstream. 2, the decision. Every point where the model chooses which tool it reached for, which led to the chase, which led to the ignore. And this is the part that input-output logging never shows you. And it's the part where it's the main part you need in your retro. 3, the action, the actual tool calls, what it asked your observability platform for, where it ran, what came back. Each one written down as a span with the request and the response. 4, the outcome, what the agent concluded, what it changed, what it handed back to the human. Ask. decision, action, and of course the out. If you can't replay those 4 for any run of your agent, you can't debug it, you can't audit it, and obviously you can't improve it. And if you can't, you're making answers with no working. You'll never pass that maths exam, that's for sure. Still with me? Good, because now I have to be completely honest with you, as I always am. 3 things. Now, first, these conventions are still young, same as MCP. They're still moving, and the instrumentation stage closer to semi-manual than automatic. If you wire it up this month, expect to rewire some of it, maybe even all of it next year. That's the price of being an early adopter to a standard. And you should play with it and pay for it with your eyes open. Second, and this is one to slow down on. The agent's working contains everything the agent saw. Prompts carry customer data. Tool responses carry production data. Record all of it. And if you have built a very detailed copy of your most sensitive material with the storage bit attached, so decide what you record before you switch it on, not after, because it's too fucking late. The horse is already bolted. Third, a perfect trace doesn't make the agent right. The perfect trace doesn't make the agent right. It makes it auditable. Those are completely different things. And the difference really matters here, right? The trace is the camera. So remember this, the trace is the camera. It's not the gate. It's the camera. For anything that changes in production, the gate, for now, stays human. So what do you actually do with all this? Right? If you're in the pit, here's what I want you to do this week. You're probably already running an agent somewhere, and if it's just coding assistant with tool accesses, pick one. Turn the tracing on. If it's built on one of the big frameworks, the switch definitely already exists, so don't worry. Then take one real run, an investigation, a code change, anything, and replay its actual workings. Read the decision graph end to end and ask yourself one big question. Would I, as the SRE engineer or whoever, made the same calls? If you come away either trusting it or trusting it less, either way, you'll know something you didn't know this morning. If you're at the table, here's what I do before your next renewal. Sometime this year, the vendor is going to offer you an agent that investigates on its own. Some already do. Maybe one that remediates on its own. Ask them one question. Show me the trace. Ask them to replay step by step why their agent did what it did in a real incident. They can show you the working. Keep talking with them. If they can only show you the answer, then the answer has to be no. Has to be no. There's no autonomy without auditability. No autonomy without auditability. And for both of you, steal the sentence. An unobserved agent is an unknown actor. Use it in your next architecture review. Use it in your next stand-up you have with your vendor. You don't have to credit me, because that's Tech Tuesday. As always, I'm Anna Man. If you love this, then as you all know, the book is out. Metrics and Mayhem, a CTO's Guide to Observability That Actually Works. Links in the description. Kindle paperback and all your good sellers. And look, if you want a free chapter, just head over to masterobservability.com, have a look around. I'll see you next Tuesday, and please subscribe, like, send off to people who you think this will find useful. Much love. Stay safe.